Well, Laurie, it's really nice to catch up with you again. I trust you're keeping well.
I am. Thank you, Rodney. It's great to see you. And thank you for inviting me to speak with you.
Well, really nice to catch up with you. So, Laurie, we were just talking. You have had a long and varied journey. Tell me what brought you to KPMG.
Yeah. I came to KPMG later in my career. I'm a lawyer, and I really grew up in law firms. I was in two different law firms as an associate, and then two different law firms as a partner. In 2006, I made what felt like a very big decision at the time to leave law firm life and go in-house. And I went to a very large multinational financial services company that was part of a much larger multinational diversified company. I went there as international tax counsel, and I spent 10 years there in a variety of roles, always international tax. And my next decision point came in 2016. My business was being sold, and I was at the point where I had to decide, what am I going to do next? And I thought to myself, I could go back to law firm life, or I could do something that really drew more upon some of the skills that I'd picked up over those 10 years. I came to realize, and I knew this in law firm life too, but I don't think I fully appreciated that the tax life cycle is more than just tax planning. It's also compliance and provision. And like I said, I knew that in law firm life, but I didn't have any exposure to compliance and provision. And those are the skills that I added in my 10 years in-house. So when it came time for me to decide what to do next, I really wanted to continue using those skills that were really hard won. And that is what made me decide to go to an accounting firm as opposed to a law firm. And that's what brought me to KPMG generally. And then, of course, my decision to join KPMG as opposed to other firms was based on the people and the practice and the collaborative nature and all the terrific things about KPMG. So that was my path to accounting firms and to KPMG. And I've been here over 5 years now.
Gosh. So first of all, it's amazing how time flies, but that's really interesting. Just, the diverse background and the different skill sets you pick up in different phases of that life.
That's right. That's right.
And so, Laurie, now that you're here doing all those things that you love, what else makes KPMG special to you?
It's a great question. I mean, of course, first, KPMG has all those things that I think of as the fundamentals, which is what brought me here in the first place. Great people, great practice, growing practice, cutting edge projects, terrific clients. Those are all kind of the fundamentals. But what else is there? I think of it as sort of a diversity of opportunity, meaning the opportunity to do other things besides those fundamental aspects of our tax practice. We have a huge amount of things to choose from. You really have to choose, what you're going to spend your time on. Nobody has unlimited time. Of course, we're all super busy. So I've chosen three different areas that I spend my time on at the firm outside of those sort of fundamental aspects of tax practice. The first one is training. And I know, as you know, Rodney, we do so much training of our tax professionals from the day you walk in the door all the way up until retirement. And that training is a wide variety, right? It's informal, sitting around a conference room talking, and it's formal in a classroom. And in the last few years, I've gotten very involved in our classroom training, where I actually go in and teach basics of international tax to our new associates. It is really fun. It's really challenging, because the thing that I've realized is the skills you need to actually practice tax, while they may overlap with teaching, they are not the same as what you need to teach tax. And I hope that I've made that, the classroom work that I've done fun and engaging and comprehensive for our associates, but it is definitely an acquired skill. It's not something that I just was able to walk in and do. So anyway, that's the first area that I've spent my time on, is training. And then the second one is kind of similar. I do a lot with our recruiting. I do recruiting for our practice. We recruit, of course, across the country. My recruiting efforts are focused mostly on New York City, where my office is. And again, I just think that's a really fun way to be engaged in bringing in really the next round of tax practitioners to our firm. and also helping make our firm the employer of choice, talking to students in schools and explaining what KPMG is like and all the opportunities here, and just playing a role in who we bring into our practice. So that's my second area. And my third one is I'm involved with what we call our business resource groups. These are forums that give opportunities to our partners and employees to participate in different areas to advance diversity and inclusion. And we have a variety of these groups. There's two that I'm involved in. The first one is called KPMG Network of Women, which we call KNOW. And that is a forum just to interact with our women colleagues and peers, both at the firm and at clients. And we have a variety of events during the year. Some are national, some are local. You can interact with a lot of women or a small cohort. It's just a great way to really expand our connections across the firm. So that's one group that I'm involved in. And then the second one is called AIM, which stands for Abilities in Motion. And that is a group that is aimed at folks in KPMG who either have a disability or are a caregiver for somebody with a disability or are just part of the special needs community. I have a special needs daughter, so that's a really important topic to me, inclusion for people with special needs. And I really love the fact that the firm, that KPMG, has this forum, not just to create connections, but and to increase inclusion, but also to raise awareness. So that's the second group, AIM, that I'm involved in. So those are the three areas that I have focused on outside of just sort of the basic tax practice, training, recruiting, and these special interest groups. And for me, it just makes for a really robust professional life at KPMG.
Gosh, and Laurie, it's really interesting. I mean, you talk about those three areas, the training, recruiting, and really communities, different communities. And there's just a huge sense of people skills and imparting wisdom and sharing with others. It's amazing. It's amazing just how your career has moved along this track. I'm going to put you on the spot. If you had words of wisdom to people that are thinking about this right at the start of their career, so right back when you started, would you have any closing words of wisdom?
Of course. First, let me say, I hope I impart wisdom. I mean, that's something we all hope to achieve, right, Rodney? But I would say, first of all, you find what you love to do. And for us, that's tax, which is great. Yep. It's challenging and fun. And then find a setting, an environment that you love to work in. And for me, that's about the people and the practice. I mean, there's lots of tax practices all over the place. It's really the people that make it wonderful and collaborative. And that's what I've always focused on is, who am I going to be sitting next to, or who am I going to be seeing over a Zoom call now that we're in the pandemic? Just finding the right people to practice with that makes you really want to come to work every day.
Really nice, Laurie. So that's a really, really positive note to end on. So you talked about AIM, network of women, recruiting, learning, just what a rich career that is. So thank you for your time. And it was just great to catch up with you.
Thanks, Rodney. Great to see you. And thanks again.